Hey everyone, welcome to the Spotlight Hour, our one-on-one podcast with content creators and members of the community with six scales, hot toys, third parties, any type of collectibles, etc. Tonight, my special guest is going to be Brother Cousin's Toy Reviews. How you doing here today, buddy?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man? Happy to be here, man. This is like the first show too, so this is gonna be good.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. Like I said, this was something that was kind of, brewing for a little while. And so if you guys are tuning in for your first time, this is basically in a one-on-one kind of, let's see why you started collecting, maybe why you wanted to start content creating, things like that. So I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I'm glad you're here. It's a pleasure to have you here. How you doing tonight?
Likewise, brother. I'm doing good, man. Let's get into it.
So when did you start collecting like six scale figures?
Man. So it started around, I would say 2000, I think it was 2009.
Okay.
And man, I was a McFarlane guy. That was my thing. McFarlane, Toy Biz, like all that stuff from the 90s. That was the stuff that I was collecting. Started collecting when I was like 11. Started with X-Men and Toy Biz and stuff like that. And that got
Okay,
crazy.
same.
Yeah, because that line got deep. We both like 80s and 90s kids. So,
Yeah, exactly.
so it started with that. And then I moved on to McFarlane, and the details on the McFarlane stuff was just so great at that time. So I went deep with that. So by the time I think got my first like good paying job, I started noticing a lot of I started noticing not even Hot Toys. It was like I was looking at the 1/6 scale stuff. And the first 1/6
Okay.
scale figure I looked at was the Metacom Spawn. Like I said, I was a 1/6 scale guy. So I saw that, and the cape on that was just, Spawn's cape is fucking awesome. It's just ridiculous.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so when I saw that, I saw that. I think I saw the cape posed in this crazy way, and I was like, "Dude, I need that. I really need that figure." So I went on eBay, found it on eBay, found it for a good price. I thought it was like, I think it was like maybe like $200, 190, something like that. And bought it, opened it up. The detail wasn't great on it, to be honest with you. It wasn't that much detail, but it was my first
It's a
like
huge step up from what we were used to collecting, though. Like the little three and
exactly.
a quarter inches, and
There you go. Yes, absolutely. So it was like I said, it had a presence, and it just stuck out from the rest of my collection. So I was in love with it, but I was like, it's all good. It's okay. Pose the cape. The cape was crazy. The cape was like the selling point of it. I was like, this is cool. This is all right. This is all right. Whatever. Then I went back on eBay because I was always the job I had was boring as shit. I would just sometimes I'll be, like those jobs where they just have you just waiting to do stuff. You're waiting. I call it waiting to be fired. It's
right?
kind
No,
of
I know. Yeah,
yeah. So I would be bored and I would just be looking. I felt like I was just looking at anything of the internet. And I mean, this is like I said, this is 2008, 2009. So I went back on eBay and was just looking for shit to buy, honestly, just out of boredom. And then I saw, which was this was new at the time, the Dark Knight was all the rage at that time. I know you don't like those Dark Knight movies.
yeah. But you're right though. That was right around that time where they were coming out, like Batman Begins and then The Dark Knight. Like that's
Right.
when it was really hot. Like right around there, like that late 2000s.
Exactly. So I saw a Heath Ledger Joker, and looking at the stuff like that you would get like out of Kmart or Toys R Us, and that were around at that time. The
Right.
quality just wasn't there. But then I saw my first hot toy. I saw that, and I was like, "Damn, this thing looks great." Is What the hell? I'm like, "What is this?" Like, look at all these accessories. They had like the duffel bag, the mask, two different head sculpts, all these hands, grenades. I mean, this thing was amazing. And then the tailoring on it, like a lot of figures at that time looked like dolls. Like you look at what Sideshow was putting out and all that stuff, they looked like the clothes just wasn't. They didn't look like people. They looked
R-
like dolls.
yeah, they look like dolls. They look like the old GI Joes, the 12 inches, or the
Exactly.
Barbies and Kens. Like
With kung fu grip and all that. Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah,
All that.
exactly.
They weren't appealing, but this thing, I was like, damn, look how the suit is tailored on this. This is like a little human. Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at it, bookmarked it and was like, oh, I'll take a look at it later. that same day I was walking through a mall and went into I think I went into it was like a Borders bookstore or something like that. And I was looking at toy magazines, and a toy magazine just stood out, and it was this dope ass Iron Man Mark III. And it looked
Mm.
detailed. And I was like, is that a picture from the movie or is that a toy? And I looked at it, and then it said, I saw like the little Hot Toys logo on it. I was like, oh, this is the same company that makes that Dark Knight Heath Ledger Joker. Oh,
Right, right.
so I'm like, oh shit, this is the same company. All right, man, damn. So I went back online, started looking for that because I'm a Marvel guy. So I'm like, oh man, let me see if I can find this.
Of course, yeah.
That wasn't out. It wasn't out yet. So I kept looking at the Heath Ledger Joker, and I was like, you know what, that Joker is nice. Then I looked back at that Metacom Spawn, and I was like, I'm not feeling this Metacom Spawn. The detail isn't there. I'm just not feeling it. Maybe I should sell that. Like I said, I wasn't making that much money. So I was like, maybe I should sell that to get this Dark Knight Joker. And that's what I did. The Spawn sold in like a couple of days. Um, went and bought that, made that jump, and bought the Dark Knight Joker, bank robber version. And it came through the mail. When it came there, my buddy was with me. And
Mm.
he's not a collector, but he likes the fact that I collect. He loves the fact that I collect
Right,
these
he
other
likes that you like it, so it's kind of a
exactly
fun thing. Yeah, I see what you mean.
exactly. So when we opened it up, he looked at me and he was like, "Dude, this is a whole new frontier. This is a whole
Yeah.
new scale." He was like, "Dude, it's no turning back. What are you gonna do?" I was like, "I don't know. This is like the best thing ever. This is." And I remember looking at him and I said, "Man, this is grown man shit."
Right, yeah, exactly. Where this is the toys for the grown-ups at this point,
Right.
you
And
know.
yeah, and at that point it was yeah, I was in the six scale. I was in the 1/6 and Hot Toys and exclusively Hot Toys. And for a while it was like Hot Toys are nothing for me. I'm just and I'm still kind of a Hot Toys loyalist. There's some companies that I mean like I've learned to appreciate a lot of like since back then we didn't have a well 30 was there, but I don't know if they were doing figures the way they are now. And what's the name of those the other companies like damn it the other damn it I forget the name of that company Toys Era and So and them I
Oh,
don't
okay,
think
like
they
the third party
the third
ones.
party there you go the third parties they weren't you know they weren't around like that, so I was just stuck on Hot Toys ever since then, and ever since then it's been nothing but Hot Toys.
We all started collecting something at some point, as
Exactly.
kids or
Yeah.
whatever, whether it was just the old toys we grew up with, and then one day you go, "Oh, what is this? This is 6 scale," even though it wasn't a hot toy. You're still like, "Oh,
Exactly.
I'm in a new scale now, and this is really cool." Like you mentioned, the cape was really awesome, but
Yeah.
you know, but then you see a hot toy and you're like, "Oh my god, like what is this?" Right?
Exactly. And the detail was like I said with the Spawn, with the Metacon Spawn. Don't want to shit on it. That's probably somebody's grail now. Who knows?
Well,
And I kind of wish I had it in my collection because I don't have that much Spawn representation in my collection right now. And I was a crazy Spawn guy. Like I love Spawn. Even wrote like Spawn fan fiction and shit. So it's
oh,
crazy.
okay, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. Love
So you
Spawn.
were
Still
really into Spawn.
really into Spawn. Still, I think I still got some shit like passwords or shit under Spawn. It's crazy.
Right,
But oh,
some
so it doesn't
Spawn
matter.
related somewhere in your
Right.
life.
Exactly. Like I even was gonna get like I think there's a cover with Spawn that had like angel wings. I was gonna have that like tattooed on my back, back in the day. So I was really into it. But yeah, man, after seeing like Hot Toys and getting like a lot of the characters that I really like enjoy, like Terminator or even some of the older stuff like the Michael Jackson stuff they had back in the day and stuff like that. It's been on with Hot Toys. The licenses that they have been able to get have been amazing. And some of the stuff that we're able to get now from them is just I never thought that I would have this stuff and would
Right.
have
Well,
this.
I bet it probably blew your mind then at that point once you first discovered Hot Toys and then you saw like, oh wow, there's Terminators, there's RoboCops, there's
Yes, absolutely. And that was the thing that got me. I think the first three, it's funny, this is how crazy my collection was. My first three Hot Toys figures were actually four. My first four. where so I got the bank robber Joker. It
Hmm.
was Mark III, Iron Man Mark III, Michael Jackson Thriller,
Oh,
and
okay.
T800. So it was crazy. It was like, and those were like the full best. I think I have a picture of like my first collection. I mean, it was just compared to what it is now. I mean, completely real humble. And it was just like, I can only get maybe one of these a year. Or maybe two
Right.
of
We'll
these
see how
a
long
year.
that lasts.
Right,
Uh,
right. And and it was great. And I mean, it got to the end. I think the one thing about it, as my collection grew, I think the thing that really made my collection grew was the Avengers line. It took me
oh,
a
okay.
while, and that was the yeah, and it took me a while to get those. I
Now,
think it
did
took
you
me
start with like the original, like the 2012 Avengers line, essentially?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yep. And it was like soon as they were released, I would get one. I think the first one I got was Captain America. I got him. Then I got Black Widow. I think I had a lot. Then it was the Hulk. And then I think by the time the Mark 7, that version of the plastic Mark 7 came out, actually sold the Mark 3 because at that time that Mark 3 started showing like it signs of its age. I was like, damn, this thing is not as good as this one. Let me sell this one to get that one. And then that's where I
Right.
kind of started to sell stuff. And I saw how I became like a little seller on eBay because I would buy stuff, I would sell stuff to buy other stuff.
Right,
Stuff that
right.
I
Like you
didn't
just use your collection to pay for your collection essentially as it grows. Because
need.
as we know, like we can look back on these now and say like and I always reference this myself, but like the 2012 2011, I would say like the Captain America First Avenger hot toy.
Yeah.
I loved that figure, but now I look at it now, especially in 2022, and I'm saying, well, this is like a 10, 11-year old figure. What
Right.
what I once thought looked phenomenal is now akin to what you were saying earlier. Now it looks more like a Barbie doll or something kind of generic in comparison to, let's say, Endgame Cap.
Exactly. Exactly. And then like it can and then with that cap, the first Avenger cap couldn't pose worth shit because of the outfit. It was so restricting.
Oh, extreme. Yeah, I mean, I still have mine, and he cannot move. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty. Those
He looked
shoulder
great.
pads in particular, you know what I'm saying? They
Right,
they they
exactly.
bow in, and it's like, if I turn this just 2 degrees, I'm gonna like rip it or something. It's so
E-
tight, like it's
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I started with that line, and like I said, it took me years to get that line because at that time it was still kind of. I was changing jobs. I was making money, but it wasn't to the point where I could you know, put these on a credit card or really just, buy multiples a year and all that. It was like really, it'd be like, okay, I can get about two or three for myself. Then Christmas time would come around. Guess what I was getting for Christmas?
Right. Like
It
you
was
really had to
like,
make a choice. So you couldn't just be
right,
all lackadaisical about it and be like, oh, I'm gonna buy this, it's out. I'm gonna buy this, it's out.
exactly.
Because they are pricey, and even now, I mean, even with inflation, they're even more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you really
Right.
have to decide. Not everybody can just purchase everything. I mean, neither of us even can. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? We still to
Exactly.
this day have to kind of choose where we're gonna go. What lane do we want to be in? Are we doing a full collection of a specific property, or are we just picking, some of our favorites from like everything Marvel, Star Wars, DC, etc. So it's a tough. Yeah, I totally get that.
Exactly. And you got to be, and like you said, I've also learned over the years that you can buy something and fall into a collection and fall into a hole. And that's one thing I didn't realize. Like doing, like, okay, like we talked about Terminator. Like, okay, you just don't buy one Terminator. You buy one
Right.
Terminator, and then it's like, oh, I got the T800. Oh, well, I want the one T800 I want the Arnold with the minigun, or I want the Tech Noir one. I want the shootout one, or
Right. Or you want all battle damage, things
I
like
want a
that.
battle exactly, or I want the
What
T.
about a Sarah Connor?
Oh, what
Then it
about
kind
the
of,
Sarah? There you go.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
Exactly.
exactly. It's like Star Wars. You don't just want to have, a Luke Skywalker and then not have like a Darth Vader.
Exactly.
And then you're like, well, I have a Vader. Well, those stormtroopers would look pretty cool with him.
There you go.
And then it just starts. Yeah, it can get out of control really quick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And don't throw
So
droids in the and you throw droids in the situation because I think I had I remember I was looking at my Star Wars collection, and then even some people don't help. Like my mom, she doesn't even help because she'll be like, "Wow, you got all of you. Oh, you got all of them. Where's C3PO? Hot Toys doesn't make C3PO, mom.
Right.
Who
Right. So thanks for bringing that. Reminded me, because now maybe I'm looking for another version, or
exactly.
what else is in
So,
6 scale that can work for me. You start you get absorbed into the whole 6 scale world at that point.
exactly. So yeah, it's tough, man. It's definitely tough.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. But I'm curious though, because as we, you're a collector, I'm a collector.
Yeah.
Probably everybody who's watching or listening to this is a collector. But then there's the difference. So we have collectors, and then we have content creators.
Right.
You and I are both, considered content creators, obviously. So what I'm wondering is, like, when did you decide that that's this next step that you wanted to take? Like, was there a moment where you're just like, I think I want to start a channel on this?
Yeah. Well, honestly, it's a great question, by the way. It was crazy, man, because the idea was floating around in my head for like since 2016, to be honest with you. So it was years. And I tried to make videos on my phone and stuff like that, and the lighting wouldn't be right. Or I think I did one of Ant-Man. I think I did when I first got Ant-Man. I think that was maybe 2016 or 2017. I actually filmed it, and then I was about to upload it, and then I was just like, no, the quality looks terrible. Nah, I'm not gonna do this. Whatever. And I kept putting it off. And then I just enjoyed watching other content creators.
Do
At
you
that
think that's
time,
how it started? Because
oh,
that's eight.
absolutely.
That's 8 years right there. What you're
Yeah,
saying, right? So
yeah,
you've been collecting now for 8 years. So I'm
yeah.
assuming within those 8 years, you had started watching others as well during that time.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was watching collector. I always talk about him, Clipper King. I was watching him,
Mm.
uh Shartimus Prime, what's the hot shit cool toy review. I was always in love with like all the content budget start. The names go on and on, like all the content creators of yesteryear.
Right, right. All the maybe arguably like founders of that, as far as six
Yeah,
scale. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So, I was looking at them, and you would be, I was getting inspired, but I just didn't want to do it. But I think what really got me into doing it is, for a while I was doing this by myself. It was just
Mm.
me collecting. My cousin collected too. We've been collectors all our lives. Like even like in the 90s, we collect, like I said, I was collecting like Toy Biz and McFarlane. My cousin was doing the same thing. Um, but he kind of fell out of it for a couple of years. He just fell out of the whole collecting thing and just went to do other stuff. But then in 2019, around the time when the Star Wars sequel trilogy came
Star
out,
Wars. Okay, yeah.
yeah, Star Wars, he started getting back into collecting. And I think what was holding him back, he didn't have his basement built. But he built this basement. I think he spent like maybe 30K, like
Oh
into the
wow.
yeah, his basement was real rural when he moved in, but he spent 30K, had his basement set up, and he kept seeing my collection, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna start collecting Hot Toys. So he started like collecting. I mean, he went from having maybe two Hot Toys. I think his collection grew within 2 years, like ballooned, like way over mine. But he was collecting not only Hot Toys, he was collecting sideshow stuff. Some of that sideshow stuff he kind of regrets now, and I kind of told him.
Right. Yeah. Some of it was really good, but some of it
Yeah,
not so much. Right.
not so much. Right, exactly. But now he's like Hot Toys all. He still has some, choice sideshow pieces. But he started collecting in two. I would say so. I would say for him, 2018 was the big year when he started, like his collection really ballooned, and then I also started collecting more and had more in my collection, and I was just like, man, start looking at all these people doing reviews. I was like, bro, we need to just do reviews. I mean, if what I don't have, you have. If I get a figure, I'll film it, do a review for it. If you do a figure how it was supposed to be, he would do a figure. He would take his figure, film it, review it, and then we would do the content together. He doesn't like filming, being on camera. He doesn't like none of that shit.
Right. Right. So he's just more of a collector.
He's more of a collector.
Yeah, and an observer. He's living like through that lens.
Exactly. So when I started Brother Cousins Toy Reviews, it was supposed to be me and him doing it. But he was like, nah, you know that you're the camera guy, you're the multimedia guy. You should go ahead and just go ahead and do the reviews. So that's when I started doing reviews. And another thing I've always done, like I was more of a graphic designer. I knew a little bit about editing videos and stuff like that. Because I used to do music videos for friends, and I did a couple
Oh,
little
okay.
myself
So
and stuff like
you
that.
already had a background in multimedia, like whether it was editing or filming, recording,
Ex-
so and so.
Exactly, exactly. And friends would tell me all the time, like, dude, you do this for, for a living. Why don't you just do it for YouTube? I was like, yeah, but that's work. That's how I was. I was like, my collection is really for me. And I still feel like that sometimes. It's good being a content creator, but I do take those days to just be an observer. I do miss those days of being an observer and having my collection, getting a figure, opening it up just for me, posing it and having fun with it. Now it's more, it is work. It is. You do this. It's
Oh
work.
yeah, yeah, of course. It can be work, especially if you're trying to, depending on where you're at on your idea or your level of content creating. If you're gonna pick up a figure just to pick up a figure to review it, right?
Right.
And maybe that's something you're gonna sell later because you don't really like it and you
Yeah.
just want to get the review. Then yeah, that's where I've kind of taken a step back. I don't really like doing that. If
Yeah.
I'm reviewing a figure, it's one I own and it's what I'm keeping. I plan on keeping, right? Because I don't want to be buying. That's when it starts feeling like work, right? Like what you're saying. You're like, I don't really like
Exactly.
this figure, but I bought it. Why did I buy it? So I can make a review? Okay. Well, if that's the case and it's happening all the time, it starts to, yeah, it really starts to feel like a job.
Exactly. And I felt like me too. I fell out of doing that. Like I think last year I stopped doing it. Like now I only review the figures that I'm going to keep in my collection or stuff that I really like. But not even just that. It's just the fact that even for, like, for instance, the Boba 2 pack. Everybody's crazy about the Boba 2 pack. I just wanted to tear into that, pose it, and be happy with it and spend time with it myself. But the fact of it is, when you open I like to do unboxings as well. So when
Sure,
I
sure.
do unboxing, I gotta break out the camera equipment, I gotta break out the lights, I gotta set up everything, I gotta film the accessories. It becomes a whole thing. Sometimes when I get stuff, there was a time when I would open it right away, pose it, and be happy with it, and couldn't wait to display it. Now, when I think about all the work, oh God, I got to set up the equipment, I got to set up the lights. Some days I'll be like, look, I'll get to it tomorrow. It came in the mail, great, it's here. The box is not damaged, the figure isn't damaged. I'll deal with it tomorrow, and that's cool. It's still fun to film it,
Oh,
and
sure, sure,
it's
yeah.
still fun, but it's
But of
still,
course, I get what you're saying.
you know what I'm saying?
A lot of people may not realize that, and that's what's interesting about having this kind of insight, behind creating content is that you're right. We have lights, we have cameras, we have different poles to adjust lights, and then there's the different temperature of the lights, and do you have the angle just right, and
Exactly,
and then I have to unbox. There's all this prep work involved,
exactly. It's
and
not
the
as
more
easy
you
as it looks.
Right, it's not, and then the more you do it, I get it. You're like, oh, I came home, and maybe you had a long day at work, and you're like you said, oh, the figure's here. I don't want to open it right now because if I'm gonna open it, I'm gonna record it, and I just, it's the process. It's the process.
Exactly. Exactly. And sometimes I take, if like you said, when you're doing all that type of setup work, I've started filming at 8, and depending on how the review is going, I'll probably don't finish until maybe 10 or 11. That's a whole evening gone. So, especially if
Yeah.
they're like coming home from work. And then not even talking, and then we're not even talking about editing, and you know how me and you edit.
Right. No, exactly. You're not even, and to
Yeah.
be fair, 2 or 3 hours is actually a generous number. Like
Yeah.
I've gone into like the 6, 7, like a whole day.
Oh yeah.
You know
Easily.
what I'm saying?
Easily. Yep.
Yeah, easily. So that's interesting then. So you had been collecting for about 8 years, and
Exactly.
then started watching, other content creators of the times, and then you just thought, you know what? I already do editing. I do multimedia stuff. I enjoy this. I've been in it for 8 years. I don't see myself getting out of collecting 6 scale. Let's take it to the next level and start creating content.
Exactly. And that was 2019, and that was my first video. And it was crude, man. I mean, it's just me going on with a cell phone I got my iPhone and I just went into my opened up the DTOF cases and just started filming and just did it and put it out. And I didn't know what to think of it. I was like, nobody's gonna watch this shit.
Right. Well, I think we all feel that way
Right,
in the beginning. Anybody,
right,
whether they're current content creators, past content creators, or even content creators in the making, that
yep,
haven't even came in yet. I think that's just human nature. Our
exactly,
first time, we're like, ooh, I don't know. Are we comfortable on camera? Are we comfortable
exactly,
speaking? Am I
right,
recording this right? Is the lighting right? All I have is a phone.
right,
That. So the beginnings
all
are
that,
always, but I think at the end of the day, there's no regrets, right? It's like I'm just gonna do it with whatever I have. I don't care. I don't need high tech equipment. I don't need a nice I don't need all this right now. Just I need to have the will and the desire to create content, and then you just dive in with whatever you have available to you right now.
exactly. And I say that to anybody that's trying to start doing videos or being a content creator, or whether it's doing reviews, or whether it's just, just want to give, your opinion on YouTube. Start. Just do it. That's my biggest advice. Don't think about think about the quality, keep that in mind, but just know you're going to get better. You know what I'm saying? Your first video should not be your best video. If that is, that's a problem. You should grow. Like, if you look, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? If you look at my channel, I grew over time. I was doing everything with a cell phone camera. Then I moved to a better camera. Then the sound quality got better. Then the production was getting better. And then it's like you were constantly growing. And I think the audience likes to see that as well, because then they feel like, damn, I actually grew with this guy. It's some people that hit me up and give me send me comments, and they'll be like, man, I remember when you used to do this with your channel, man. I was there from the day one when you started. And that's great. And awesome to hear that. It's
Right.
just,
Yeah, that's a good feeling, and I
yeah,
and I tell people the same thing. It's like, my first videos are not good. Right. Let's be real. Like I think we all feel that way, right? Like you said,
oh
it's hard. If your first video is amazing, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know how that happened.
right,
That's kind of a freak thing. It's
right,
we're learning, we're taking the dive in. There's so many factors to consider there. But when people watch you and come back, and that's why I've done the same. I've left my videos there.
yeah,
I want people to, whether they're people from day one that have been following, or somebody who just recently stumbled upon your channel
yeah,
and starts to enjoy your content. They can go back and take a trip down memory lane and see some of the early videos and be like, wow, you've like really came up. Like
yeah,
they can see the gradual progression.
right. Definitely. Like, even looking at going back, and it's crazy, even for me, looking at my first collection video, which was a collection video, looking at that video compared to now. Like, back then, I didn't have a home. I was in my little apartment in
Mm,
one room with everything crammed, really crammed into one room. When my room was small. It's a small room, and that's all I had. But I made the space work. To now, if you look at, since then I moved into a house, and you can see the progression. Like, damn, this dude grew over these, last 4 to 5 years. It's been crazy. It's been it's interesting to see. Just even going back for me, I'm like, damn, that's how we did. Like, wow. Just looking at, and even looking at how the collection has grown. Like, back then, it was mainly Marvel. It was just Marvel and Star Wars, which is still pretty much Marvel and Star Wars. But now you see more of the stuff. You see more Star Wars. You see more Star Wars stuff. Of course, you see Back to the Future. You see other, Mandalorian and all this other stuff. It's just
r-
interesting to see how the
right. You've curated over time, and like
exactly.
your taste is now transformed into something a little bit different. Like I think we all, even collectors in general, not even content creators, but I think everybody under that umbrella that is a collector all started, I know it sounds cliched, but like at like a humble beginning, right? You have to have a first hot toy at some point, and that's the one. And then your collection may get to two or three or four, and you're like, wow, this is pretty cool. And it's funny being a content creator. You look back on that and be like, wow, I had like not much. You know what I mean? When you look
Right,
back on that.
right. Exactly. And that's how it was for me. And speaking of my first video, like I said, I didn't think nobody was gonna watch it. I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna throw this out here. We'll see what we do. I threw the logo and the graphics and everything up and quick. And even some people have been like, "Damn, you're a graphic designer. Your logo sucks," and it does. It's because it was done out of haste. It was kind of like, I'm just going to throw this out here and see what happens and see what it does. I'm not really taking it serious. In the first year, I didn't take it serious, but
Mm.
my first video I think I got like 1,000 views like quick, and I was like, "Oh shit, people are actually watching this! Wow!" And
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty good for a first video.
right. So I was like, damn, this is good. I was like, let me do the second video. And I think the second video was probably Hella, I think. And it's funny that now everybody's like, oh my God, Hella is such a grail. That's a great figure. And I didn't get nothing on that video. It was like humbling. I was like, damn, I thought I was the shit. What happened? What happened?
Yeah, it's crazy. It goes to show you. I mean, depending on the market at the time, like how even on an earlier channel, like YouTube doesn't necessarily recommend,
Yeah,
upstarting, fledgling channels. So it's like there may have been a ton of people that wanted to see it, but just didn't know you were there. You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Exactly.
Or again, like how tastes change, right? Maybe people at the time didn't really consider it all that great, and now looking back, they're like, man, I really should have picked up that Hella. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Right.
Because hindsight, you look back, it's gone. It's a grail, like you said. It's wild, man. It's wild.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So tell me this then, man. Because I am curious. Like, do you have a creative process, like a format almost that you've refined over time? I mean, can you tell me a little bit about like where when do you decide, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, and like, do you have like a specific style? Like you found your flow, but was it something that was like overnight, or is it something that just kind of evolved the more that you did more and more videos?
It definitely evolved. I mean, really, it was like I was really trying to come up with something to make it as fast but professional as possible. And that was the thing because, like I said, I don't like the time where you put a lot of time into these videos and then the return on investment isn't that great. That is kind of hurtful. Not even the fact that people don't watch it or some video get better views than others. It's just the fact that damn, I put a lot of time in that. I could have put time towards other stuff. I don't do just YouTube. I like to paint. I draw a little bit from time to time. I'm a musician, so if I do a YouTube video and I spend about 6 hours on that video and then that video doesn't get any views, I feel like, well, shit, I could have spent that time in painting or making a song or doing some side work for somebody. And that was a little thing that was it's disheartening at times, and I had to work with that. But when it comes to my process, over a period of time, it just grew to how I like to film my videos. I wanted to do
Hmm.
more than what every other content creator was doing. But to be honest, that's how I started. I would look at the Shawnum's primes. Like I said, I would look at the Clipper Kings. I would look at dare I say it, Justin's, everybody. You can't, these are the big guys that were out at the time.
Sure,
And then
sure, and
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 then
you
also
can't help but have inspiration from that. I mean, you're watching,
absolutely
the hobby that you're into, and and if you're like, well, I want to do this, well, and I have no idea how to do it, then I think the best form is it is studying. You are studying. You're watching
ex-
other people doing the same thing,
exactly.
so you need to figure out like pointers and inspiration from others, and like you said, like you wanting to be unique on your own, right? What makes you different than you know the content creator number 2, number 3, number 4? You know what I mean? You want to stand out on your own. You don't want to copy, but you do need to draw inspiration.
And that's what it was. And I think when I in the early years of the channel, when I was doing like maybe one video a month or whatever, we're talking like 2019 to yeah, like all of 2019, it was more of just going through the motions, just getting my feet wet, learning how to do reviews. But then as the channel grew and as I grew, I started, my whole graphic design conceptual thinking mind started coming on. And I'm like, okay, how can I do what everybody is doing, but do it differently and do it in my own way? And that's where I started to stretch out a little bit. Okay, let me add music underneath. Okay, the rest of these guys are not putting music in. Let me put music underneath. Let me do something. Let me keep the figure spinning on the turntable. Yeah, a lot of people don't do that, but I want you to see all I want the whole thing of my style of reviewing figures is I want the appeal to be like, I'm inviting you over my house. You're coming to see brother cousins. It's that same type of thing. Like, hey, I'm going to go see my buddy. I'm going to my buddy's house. I'm like, hey man, come check out this figure. That's the style out. That's the feeling I want people to have when they watch the video. You're going to a buddy's house looking at the figure. And you're looking at all aspects of the figure. So you're not just getting just a cold stern review. You're just coming over a buddy's house and we're just shooting the shit. And you're like, hey man, ain't this cool? You know?
Right, I see. Right. So you're
Yeah.
just being like a gracious host almost. You're like, hey,
Right.
come check this out. I really want to show you
Exactly.
why this is so amazing. You know what I mean? So just come in, be comfortable, kick back and like let me show you why I think this is awesome, essentially.
Exactly. Yep.
And you can, and that's the thing. People, I think, and I've said this before, but like the whole world I feel is just a remix, right? Through anything, not just collecting, just the whole world. Everybody gets inspired by everybody. And,
Exactly.
there's a fine line though, and I understand that being a content creator myself, that you want to be you, right? You don't want to copy people or feel like you're just another, like a ripoff of somebody. You know what I'm saying? Everybody
Exactly.
wants to find their own uniqueness, and that could take a little bit of while, right?
Absolutely. I think what really made me personally wanted to step up was definitely I think when I really started taking it serious, and we're talking about like 20, because 2020, we all know everybody was in the house. So I think there was a lull where we were waiting for figures to come out because a lot of stuff wasn't shipping and stuff. But when stuff started to open up and like figures started to ship again, that's when I really went into overdrive. And I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put as much content out as possible. I think at that time I was probably at maybe about 500 or 600 subs. So the channel was going good, but it wasn't, I could have been doing more work. Um,
Where it
but
wasn't quite
also
where you wanted it to be. You felt like you can do
I could
if
do
you put in
more.
some more effort, right?
Exactly. And this was not only told by me, but my friends and people that watch. They were like, "Dude, you can do more than what you're doing. You know, you can do more." And then when I started really looking at, our guy Dante, and I saw his videos, I was like, "Man, Dante's really killing it." And I mean, and he had a different look than the other YouTubers and other content creators.
Right,
He had a
right.
dark background and just the way he shot his stuff. I was like, this dude is awesome. It's like, damn. And that also kind of inspired me to kind of change it up. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, he is, he has his own distinct look. When you see Dante's reviews, it's like, oh, you see that dark background. You see not only the dark background, but the way that it's shot. You can just, it's like his signature in it. You're like, oh,
Right.
wow.
And so
That
with Dante, you're talking about Manahawk Collectibles, right?
Anaheim Collectibles, yes, yes.
Okay.
So yeah, and that's where I was like, yeah, I definitely need to step it up, and I'm gonna really put more time into this, and then also seeing the sub count in the comments come in, I was like, wow, people are really watching me now. It's not just me throwing up something in a month and getting a couple of hundred views. This is turned into a real thing now. Okay, so I started producing more content, started, to get, and make more content, do, and really pay attention to what I was doing and just add a little bit more production value into what I was doing as well.
Right. Well, yeah, of course, and I totally understand where that's coming from because, in the beginning you're saying, okay, well, you know what, I'm just going to use my phone, I'm going to record this DTOF, and I'm just going to throw it up on the internet and see what happens. And then when you start, like you said, when people are, you notice your videos are getting a lot of likes, and then you see people commenting and they're saying, hey, this is great stuff, I like what you're doing, so on and so forth, then you feel either inspired or obligated. It's kind of that feel good feeling, when you're like, oh, okay, people are actually engaged and enjoying my content. I should probably work on improving this. Now it feels like it's not, I'm just throwing it out there and seeing what sticks. Now I'm slowly gathering a following.
Exactly. And providing a service. And that was the thing. I'm like, damn, I'm actually providing a service now. This can be more than just a hobby. This could be put a potential business. And once I started putting my mind to that, I started reading books. I joined TubeBuddy. I forget the name of this guy. This guy name. His name is Dorian82. He talks about content creation and just how to make money, in today's time without working a regular 9 to 5. And one thing he said, he was like, make videos. He said, when you're starting out and you don't have 100 subs, try to make a video every day. And then I was like, well, shit, how am I going to make a video? These damn things cost a lot of money. I can't just, I'm going to do
Right.
it
No, right, of
every
course.
fucking, what am I going to do? So I started coming up with the idea. It was like, okay, let me, and at the time, like I was still using my cell phone, but I was like, let me add to the production value. Let me add some more equipment. I was like, let me do something to make the videos go faster. Let me make it easier for me to produce content. And I think I invested in a webcam, a decent camera, and turned
Hmm.
that camera to a webcam. Um, I got a mic, got this mic, and I started I just was looking for news. And then I started seeing anytime Hot Toys would drop something, I was like, well, let me talk about this. Let's see who's going to really look at me. Who cares to look at me talk about, you know, figures and videos and all that stuff. Let me just see what happens. So I started doing those videos. Anytime Hot Toys would do a drop or show pictures, I would talk about it. It was like a, hey guys, look at this. I call them the hey, look at this videos. So
Right.
when I would when I would do those videos, I was like, they're probably going to be annoying. They're probably going to say stop doing this, or they're not just going to watch. But it's content. Who cares? So I started doing those videos, and I started to notice that, damn, these videos of me just talking about pictures are getting views. Damn, they're really starting. This is working. Let me keep doing this. So I kept doing this, kept doing that, kept doing it. The sub count started to grow even more. And I was like, well, shit, I'm going to do a video every day or at least every other day.
Right.
And I started building, the numbers started coming in. And next thing you know, I was like, damn, oh, wow, this is getting, this is really becoming something. And as of I think the middle of last year, I started to stream with you guys, Dante,
Hmm.
you, Aries, all you guys. And then it was just like, damn, oh, I guess I'm a YouTuber now. I felt like, validated.
Right.
I was like, oh, I'm actually I'm a YouTuber now. Wow. And not just doing it as a hobby. It's like, damn, Brother Cousins is getting out there. And I mean, and I know I'm still a very, very, very small channel, but it was, it's
You're
cool
bigger
to
than when you started.
exactly,
And
exactly.
and that's what I think the key is. I mean, your channel, as of right now, I mean, your channel has more subscribers than my channel does. So I wouldn't say that you're, very, 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 very small, right? Because then now one of my, no, you know what I'm saying? Like you're
Yeah,
growing, and that's the
yeah,
point.
yeah.
You're seeing
The growth.
consistent numbers rising. People are tuning in, like you said. You started just talking about news releases or announcements, and you're thinking, who wants to hear this? And then lo and behold, people do, and people enjoy your content, so they value your opinion. They go, oh, Brother Cousins put out a video of the recent Hot Toys announcement. What is his thoughts? Let me go tune in on that.
Yeah, and that was just flattering. It was. I was like, wow, they care about what I'm talking about.
Right,
Because
right.
you know how it is. I mean, we all have friends, and I think you can agree to this. Like a lot of people that were around in real life, they some of them will probably be like, why are you sitting around playing with toys? Or that old stigma, oh, you just buy figures, you're in your parents' house, you're the 40-year-old version, you're the 40-year-old version, which actually was called that about one of my some of my homies at one point. And the funny thing about it is, in that movie, I actually had some of the damn figures that he had. So
Oh,
that
so
was
that didn't
really
help any, right?
not at all. but, but yeah, so I can like who it's weird. It was like I can't talk about this with anybody, but then I use this platform and I talk about it and people listen. So it's like, damn, it's like validation. It's like, damn, okay, so I'm not crazy. I knew this shit was
Right, you're
cool.
not alone. You're not alone. Whether it's other content creators or just people, that are collectors in general that are a part of the community. We have a lot of regulars that tune in to watch videos or participate in the live streams and the chats, and like this is a thing, and it's not just you're some stranger even though it may feel that way, in personal life with friends and family, they may be like, why do you, like you said, why do you have these toys? This is like whatever. But then you find out you are not alone. This is a thing. It's a huge thing, and it's a wonderful thing to be able to share with others. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, kind of validated. You're not just, there's nothing wrong with you. And I feel like we
Right.
feel that way sometimes in personal life where people are like, dude, what are you're in your 40s, you collect toys, there's like some weird
Exactly.
stigma there, and it's not. And look what you've been able to do with the hobby.
Exactly. Exactly. And like you said, it just makes it the validation. It just makes it worthwhile. Yeah, because I've heard a little bit about that. Oh, I got that from friends, but I was always like, I like the stuff. The funny thing now, since the pandemic, how many there's been just like a just onslaught of new collectors, and just they're just an abundance of new collectors because nobody people were just standing in the house and they wanted to have something to make them comfortable, and it was like, hey, I like waiting for packages, so
Right?
what is this? Let me get a hot toy, let me get a figure. And I have the same, it's funny, the same friends, homies, whatever you want to call them. Maybe a couple years ago was calling me 40-year-old version. They came to my house maybe about a couple of months back, and the same friend was like, bro, ah, you're like sitting on a gold mine. I didn't know these were worth so much money. He was like, dude,
Right?
he's like, you've been collecting for years. You had like money. He was like, you were flexing around us, and we didn't even notice. I was like, yeah. Some people buy jewelry, some people buy fancy cars, but
Some people buy shoes, others buy hot toys.
others buy hot toys. And he
Yeah.
was like, dude, you're flexing. He's like, this shit is worth a lot. I was like, yeah, man. Yeah, it's a great deal.
Yeah, no, it's true. It doesn't say, it doesn't look like much
That
when people
validation,
think.
it feels good. Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you this then, because the pandemic, like you're mentioning, and you're right, we've gotten such a influx of collectors now. Like I said, no, people are sitting around at home, or whether they're quarantined or they're working from home, and it's like the delivery drivers. To me, I always kind of joke about it, but I feel like the Amazon drivers, the FedEx guys, UPS guys, those are now like the adult versions of like the ice cream truck.
Right.
When we were kids, and we're like, oh, look, a package just go, yeah, the truck's here, like you get all excited. And
Exactly.
so there's been a huge influx of collectors, and I'm noticing a lot of them are wanting to kind of take that step. Some of them,
Yeah.
and that's how sometimes it starts, and you have to have it in you. Not everybody wants to be on camera, not everybody wants to create content.
Exactly.
But there are some that do, and I'm wondering, like, what advice could you give inspiring content creators? Because as you know, there's a huge amount of new collectors, and I know some of them want to come in, and it is daunting to start. So I mean, do you have any thoughts on that, on what maybe, if there are aspiring collectors out there, like, how would they proceed?
Just start. Just start. Um, just start and grow as you, I would say this, grow as you go. That, I think, yeah, I like that. Grow as you go. But just start. That's the thing. Don't sit back, because I got friends that want to start and they're like, oh man, my lights aren't right though, or I don't have the right camera, or man, nobody's gonna watch. I'm like, dude, just do it. Just do it. Put it out. It's not gonna be the best, and that's cool. That's fine. It's called YouTube for a reason. That's the thing. It's about you. You can do it. Some people can start super duper professional and have this look, and that's great. And I'm not saying to do that. You should aim for that. Definitely aim for that. But that also shouldn't scare you away if you don't have it. Just start and grow as you go. Invest in a better camera. If you're worried about quality, yeah, get you some good lights. Go to YouTube. You're using YouTube. You want to be on YouTube, so watch a lot of YouTube videos. Watch YouTube videos on lighting, on learn 3-point lighting. Learn
Right.
that. You know what I'm saying? Learn it. And that's probably one of the biggest things gifts I'm giving you right there. Learn 3-point lighting video. Learn that shit. Learn that. Get a good research the best camera for YouTube. If you want to know, the camera I'm using right now is a Sony ZV-1, which is really good for like blogging. It's a blogger's camera, but it's real
Okay.
good for showing product reviews. Like if I hold this up, you can see the product like that, or better yet, you know, see how that just
Oh, yeah.
like,
Perfect.
just like that. So it's good for that. It's a kind of a pricey camera, but
But
it's
again,
not.
with lighting, you can do lighting first because you can use a cell
Yeah,
phone, and if you have good lighting, the cell phone cameras these days are pretty good. I mean, considering, you know what I'm saying?
exactly.
And everybody
Exactly.
has a cell phone.
Everyone has a cell phone. Everyone has a cell phone. So you can, I mean, you can use your iPhone if you got 11. I think I started what was I think I started with an iPhone, what was it? I think it was the iPhone 9. I think it was the iPhone 9. Then I moved to the 11 and now I have the 13. But yeah, even if you have an iPhone 8 or iPhone 9, you should still good get decent quality out of it. So if you got to start with that and just get, and like Anthony was just saying, just get your lighting game up. Learn lighting. You can go to Amazon, get you a good lighting kit for like $100. You know, yeah. I think those are the best. Those are probably the best tips I can give you. Just just start. Just do your best and just start.
Right.
Don't let nobody hold you back.
Just do it essentially, right? And you're just like, if
Do
I
it.
want to do it, I'm gonna do it. And if I could say one other thing of that through just personal experience, not necessarily myself, but when if you're going into content creating and it's especially like 6 scale figures, things like that, and there's a community out there, it's slow and steady. That's one thing I would learn. I think a lot of people want to feel like they're going to have overnight success, and maybe they're going to try to work their way through groups and people and things of that nature. But honestly, what it comes down to, none of that matters. None of that matters. Like you said, Jay, it's YouTube. So it's first and foremost, it's to you. It's what are you bringing? What content are you bringing? Whether it's educational or creativity or
Exactly.
personality, even. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because like you said, there's videos where we'll just discuss news and announcements,
Exactly.
and now that just comes slowly at that point of the personality. You know,
Exactly.
don't think, well, why would they want to watch me talk about this when there's other people that talk about this? Well, if they find you enjoyable,
Yeah.
then you know what I'm saying. Then you're going to naturally build. Like I said, you're slowly building a following. It's not going to happen overnight.
Exactly. And then here's the thing. It's like you may say, "Oh, I don't want to do that. Brother Cousins is doing that." Who cares? Who cares? There's probably people out there that don't like me. There's probably other people that don't like the sound of my voice. They may like yours. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine. There's somebody for everybody, and there's content for everybody. It's content creators for everybody. So don't look at it like, why would they listen to me? It's people that you probably there's probably people that will gravitate to you more than they'll gravitate to me and Anthony. And then who knows? It's all a community. And then here it is. It's all about relationships too, like anything in life. You can
Right.
be doing this one day, and then next thing you know, you can be streaming with us one day, and then you're part of the shit.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. You're
Yeah,
right. I mean, there was a
so
time where I did not stream. There was a time where you did not stream.
exactly. It's funny. I mean, to be honest with you, you're talking to a person that went from watching High Collectibles, uh, Aries, and Justin, and about a year from doing this, I've been on panels with them, and I was just the kid with a cell phone, just like, okay, let me just do this. So it's not a big deal. Just start. That's the biggest thing. Just start. It's not rocket science. Yes, some content is going to look better than others. You're going to grow as time goes. So just leave it at that, and just like I said, just do it. Just do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What I'm curious here, as we wrap up, is there anything like any kind of goals or anything this year that you're looking forward to, or things you have anything in the work, or what, since we're talking about content creating and collecting, is there something that you have some goals set that you're trying to achieve for this year?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I would like to get, I don't know how realistic it is, but I would like to get to at least three. Keep my the same, and that's another thing. Keep your goals obtainable, as I'll say, not small
Hmm.
but obtainable. And if you have to start small, that's cool too. So one of the goals I want for this year is to get to, I would say, about at 3,000 subs. I think that's doable. I think we could do that. If I exceed that, great. If I don't, if I get close to that, I'll be happy. My thing is just progress, period. But doing that, doing more contests. I love doing giveaways. I'm a giver. I like giving stuff away. And I think it feels good. It makes me feel good to give away. Like we did the giveaway last week with the I Want Rex giveaway. I would like to do that again. And now being monetized, I can now, take this and actually, yeah, stuff is tax write-off. So yeah, we can do it, but it's still fun to give away. And that was out the out my own pocket. I don't mind doing it. It just feels good to do that. So definitely more contests. And I think I want to do a show, but a different style of a show. Maybe a pre-recorded type of show
Hmm.
where, and I think how I want to do it is it's almost a trend. I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it. I don't care. If somebody beats me to it, whatever. I got bunches of ideas. Like a traveling show, almost like something that you'll see on TLC, where I'll go and meet up with other collectors and like we'll like show off figures and we'll actually go and maybe do a show where we actually go and meet, like, because me and Anthony, we've done several streams together. We never met.
Right, right, right. So it
You
could be
know,
like almost like a vlog in a sense. You can meet up and you
exactly.
guys are at like a comic book store or something, or
Exactly.
you're out there kind of just hanging out and
Right.
talking collector stuff. And yeah, that
Exactly.
sounds great.
Yeah, definitely want to do. And if it's a couple, maybe it could be like a couple episodes, maybe like a 6 episode series or something like that. Want to do stuff like that. That's the next, thing I'm looking at to do and trying to get it done this year. So yeah, that's about it. But like I said, keep your goals small. I'm trying to keep mine small. I mean, everybody wants like, oh, I want like 10K subs or 20K subs, but man, I don't really need that. I like where my channel is right now. I like the community. I love the community. Honestly, I can
Absolutely.
honestly say the community has made collecting more fun. Really has. It's great.
Oh yeah, I mean that's real talk here. I mean I wouldn't be doing this just to do because, I have a hobby of collecting. Let's say Hot Toys or 6 scale figures, right? So maybe there are some that do, but I don't feel like that is enough for me to be like I really like this hobby and I want to make a channel and I want to just be by myself when I do this. You know what I mean? I don't think there's enough driving force there for me personally. I know some others are that's how they roll and they create their content and they enjoy their stuff. But for me, I'm with you on that one. That I love the community, being able to hang out, participate, converse, and you be either excited or disappointed of whether it's a figure release or one of the recent television shows that we watch, because it all coincides. It's this one big community that we can all share with and like you said, and give back. Like with giveaways, it's a good feeling to give back to the community in that respect.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I've had people hit me up on Instagram and they be like, dude, this brother cousin is like, wow. And they feel that sometimes we're like unobtainable. And I'm like, no, I'm just like you, bro.
Right, like I'm here, what's up, man, how you
I'm here.
doing?
What's up? It's
you know
I'm not a celebrity. It's not like I got people. It ain't like that yet,
right,
but
right.
no. But even yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just a guy that loves Hot Toys. I love collectibles, and I would be doing this if it wasn't YouTube. If all this shit went away and I couldn't do YouTube no more, I would still be waiting for packages, collecting, watching you guys. And I mean, and sometimes like I'll be like, I guess that's why we're always like in the chat, because some days I'll just like watch. I'll just like to be, I don't need to necessarily be on a panel some days. I watch you guys like I'm like nobody, like I'm not a YouTuber. And it's
Right, right.
fun
You
to
just
me.
want to, kick back,
Yeah,
but you still want to watch and just relax and kind of chime in the
right.
chat.
Right. Yeah. It's like I don't need to be on. Oh, I don't need to be on every stream. I want to get my face out there. That's cool, but I enjoy the content. I enjoy the content. I enjoy the community, and I enjoy the figures. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, I think that's probably all the time that we have for today. But thank you again for coming on and talking and sharing insights and why you love collecting and all. And I think that's great. And I think this is what I think people want to know and want to hear, and maybe be inspired from and start their own channels, like we were saying.
Exactly, brother. I appreciate it. Appreciate you for having me. You know what it is. Anytime you want me on, I'm there, man.
Hey, no, absolutely, definitely appreciate it. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap on this one, guys. Like I said, we're gonna be putting these out. If you're listening to this now, I think it's gonna be Sundays. So we're gonna keep this going. We're gonna have some more guests coming in, and so stay tuned for that. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.